Rabbit-Proof Fence, Chapter 7. Losing Gracie. A few days later, early in the morning, the girls crossed the railway line near Mount Russell Station. They could see the station not far away and some people working there. Gracie stood still and stared at them. "I'm going to the station to talk to those people," she said suddenly. "Why? What you gonna do?" asked Molly, but Gracie was already walking away from them. "Where's she going?" asked Daisy. She held on to Molly's coat with both hands. "Tell her to come back, Dougal." Gracie was already too far away, and Molly did not want to shout. She and Daisy hid behind some bushes and waited. 15 minutes later, Gracie came back, looking excited and happy. She crouched down next to them. "That woman, the Muda one working down there." Gracie waved her arm in the direction of the station. "She told me that my mommy left Jigalong and is living in Walloona. I can get the train to Walloona. The Muda woman says I can go with her when the train comes." Molly stared at her. "We come all this way," she whispered, "and now you're gonna let them get you? Send you back to Moore River? You're mad." Gracie stood up. "No," she said. "No, I can't walk any more on Dougal. I'm tired. I'm going to my mommy in Walloona." "But maybe she's not there anymore," Molly said. "Maybe she's gone some other place that you don't know. Maybe this Muda woman is lying." "You gotta come with us," said Daisy. "Your mommy, she'll come and find you at Jigalong." "No," said Gracie. "I'm going to Walloona. Jigalong's still a long way from here. I can get the train to Walloona." "Yes, but there's lots of people in Walloona," Molly said unhappily. "Somebody's gonna see you there, report you to the police, and then they're gonna send you back to Moore River. You want to go back to that place?" Gracie turned her face away from them. "Come back to Jigalong," Daisy said. "Come with us, Gracie. You go to Walloona, you get caught." "I'm not gonna walk anymore. I'm tired," Gracie said. Molly tried again. "Gracie, listen, it's not safe to go to Walloona. Jigalong is right out in the desert. The police don't come there very often, and we can hide in the bushes any time." "Jigalong too far," Gracie said. She took a step away from them. "I'm going to see my mummy." She took another step. "I'm going to Walloona." She turned and walked away from them, down towards the station. Molly stared after her, with tears in her eyes. "She gonna get caught," she whispered. "She gonna get caught." Daisy moved closer to her sister, and Molly put her arm around her. With her other hand, she covered her eyes and began to cry, the tears running down between her fingers. "Maybe we wait a bit, Dougal," said Daisy. "Maybe Gracie will come back, decide to go to Jigalong with us." Molly said nothing, and the tears continued to run down between her fingers. High above them in the sky, a great bird circled lazily on the hot wind, its long, sad cry ringing through the desert air. After a while, Molly and Daisy got up. They went back to the rabbit-proof fence and began to follow it north again, walking away hand in hand into the desert. By midday on the day that they had lost Gracie, it had become very hot. The hottest day since their escape from Moore River. Molly and Daisy threw away their army coats, knowing that they would not need them again. But they did need water. They found a little riverbed which was almost dry, but had just enough water for them to have a drink and fill their billy cans. This would give them enough water until they found one of the wells along the old cattle route. After a few hours, they came to a dry salt lake. It lay before them, a great wide place of white salt. Daisy stopped. "My legs hurt, Dougal." "All right, I'll carry you to the other side." Molly picked Daisy up and began to walk across the salt. The sun burned down, but desert heat was nothing new to these Marduk girls, and Molly just went on walking. "Not far now," she whispered. "We'll have a rest soon." They got to the other side, and Molly put Daisy down. She was very tired. Tired from the long weeks of walking, tired from the crying and the heartache of losing Gracie. I gotta sleep for a bit, she said to Daisy. There's some trees over there. We'll go there. All right, Ndugu, said Daisy. You sleep and I'll look for bush tucker. Molly lay down and was asleep in seconds. Daisy looked around for a while and then, seeing a bird's nest in a tree, climbed up the tree and found 4 young birds in the nest. She caught and killed 3 of them, one by one, but as she was climbing down, she fell and banged her knee on a rock. Her knee was not badly hurt, but the pain made her angry. Ow, she shouted. Ow, ow, ow. Suddenly she heard a man's voice calling behind her. Hey, where's your big sister? Daisy turned and saw a young man, a muda in cattle worker clothes, standing on a little rocky hill watching her. His horse was tied to a tree nearby. I said, where's your big sister? He shouted at her. Tell her to come here to me. I want her. I heard about you girls. You ran away from that settlement, Moore River. He laughed unpleasantly and began to walk towards her. Daisy, frightened and angry, screamed at him in English and Mardu, telling him to go away. Jump off a rock, fall in a hole. She picked up some big stones and threw them, hard. The young man turned and ran, trying not to get hit by the stones. As he jumped on his horse, he shouted back angrily, All right, you wait. I'm gonna report you to the police. Molly, woken by the noise, came running. What's wrong? She called. Who are you screaming at? Daisy told her, and they watched the man riding away. Mongrel bastard, Molly whispered angrily. Come on, we gotta move along, quickly. They took the dead birds with them and walked until nightfall, when the shadows were long and they felt it was safe to make a fire to cook the birds. The girls were now in their own land and knew every rock, every tree, every dry river bed. They walked long hours every day, and after meeting the cattle worker, they kept watch for strangers. They did not want to get caught so close to home. News travels easily among desert people. At Jigalong, the families knew about the escape and the long walk north, and knew the girls were getting close. Molly's mother, Maud, and old Granny Frinda spent many hours looking south, watching and waiting, and Maud used to whisper quietly, They're coming home. Our girls are coming home to us. Near station 594 on the old cattle route, Molly and Daisy knew there was a camp where one of their aunties lived. They had no food or water left, so when night came, they went on walking in the moonlight until they reached the camp. Their auntie cried and cried when she saw them. You girls are so thin, she said. She cooked them a meal, but they could eat very little because their stomachs were now so small. Your cousin Joey is going north tomorrow with some workers on the fence, she said. You can go with them. Jigalong was still 4 days away, but it wasn't hard traveling because Joey let them ride on a camel, and at night they had food and water and a safe place to sleep by the campfire. They passed Lake Nabaru and came to Moondiwindi. Soon in the distance they could see the black hills where their families hunted for gadi-gadis and goannas. On the 4th day they came to Jigalong. Molly and Daisy left Joey and began walking to their family camp. The end of their long, long journey had finally arrived, and they could feel their mothers waiting for them. In the clear evening light, they ran across the dusty red earth of their homeland, and soon they disappeared into the trees around the camp. The Mardu daughters and granddaughters had come home. By daybreak the next morning, the camp was empty. The families had disappeared into the western desert, taking their daughters and their granddaughters to places where the white man could not find them. To Mr. A. O. Neville, Chief Protector of Aborigines, Perth. The half-caste girls Molly and Daisy have returned to the Jigalong area after their most wonderful walk home. I am afraid you will never get them now. By this time they will be somewhere back in their own country, out in the desert, nobody knows where. I do not think you will ever keep them in a settlement unless you lock them up all the time, and I guess it is better for them to live in the bush than behind a locked door. Arthur T. Hungerford, Superintendent, Jigalong Depot, 11th of October, 1931. Gracie was caught at Walloona. When she arrived, her mother was not there, but Gracie decided to wait until she came to fetch her. She stayed with some Marduk people called Ned and Rosie in their camp. She told everybody her name was Lucy, but they still caught her and sent her back to Moore River.